Today we're going to look at hanging baskets, and there are lots of different styles of basket you can choose from. These particular ones have got a metal frame and they're lined with a coir liner, but you'll find different styles and designs and different sizes around to choose from. Have a look for the biggest one you can. Big baskets hold more compost and hold more plants, so you'll get much more impressive displays if you go for those. This one is about 18 inches wide. It's lined already, but what I also like to do is to get a piece of old compost bag, which I can put in the base of the basket to almost act like a reservoir. You could use an old saucer or an old dinner plate or something in the bottom. And when you water, that will just retain a little bit more moisture and keep the basket going during dry weather. So once you've put that in the base, you've got to choose your compost. And there's loads you can go for. This one has got some extra ingredients in it which lock in more moisture. And the one I'm going to use today, this moisture compost, has got extra water retaining granules in it, but it's also got a slow release fertilizer. So that means that the plants we put in will be fed for the next 6 months. If you get an ordinary compost, you can buy some of the ingredients separately, like these water saver granules, and you just mix up the appropriate amount of these into the compost, and it's the same with a slow release fertilizer. Mix that up into your compost before you start the job. The liners themselves don't look that nice, so I want to try and cover them with plants. So as well as planting in the top, I'm going to plant through the sides, and you'll need to get a sharp knife, be careful when you use it, to make some slits in the side of the liner themselves, which you can put plants into. So just literally cut through the liner to make a hole. And today, for this seasonal display, I'm going to put in some beautiful pansies, which I'm going to put in the lower layer. And in the upper layer, I'm going to put in some little miniature violas. And in the top, I'm going to plant up these gorgeous, colourful primroses. Right, let's get started by putting a layer of compost in the base of the basket. So just get a few handfuls, and we're just quarter, third filling the basket up to the line of the lowest cuts that we've made in the liner itself. And then we're going to take the Easy Grow pansies. This is going to be our lowest tier of planting, and you just feed the lovely contained root ball of that pansy through the hole so that the root ball rests on the compost. We tease the liner back down around the plant. So now that plant itself is just resting on the layer of compost, and I will now go on planting up the rest of the basket. And there we've got it, the 6 plants in. Next thing is more compost, and we're now going to feed in a new layer of compost up to the line of the upper slits where the violas are going to go. So it's now more compost in the basket, and as I put this in, I'm just going to squeeze it up against the root ball of the plant we've put in there, and just make sure it's not coming out of the holes in the liner we've got at the side. There, new layer of compost is in there. Now we're ready for the violas. So now the violas are in place, we can start topping up with compost, covering the root balls of each of those plants to almost the top of the basket. So we'll then be ready for planting a layer of primroses in the top. You might either find them growing in pots like this, or again, at B&Q, you've got this wonderful tea bag technology. So these plants are so easy to clean to handle. You literally put them in close to the edge of the basket, push compost tightly up around the root ball itself, and be generous. Plant as generously as you can afford, because the more plants you can squeeze in, the more impressive your displays will be through the spring and into summer. If you want to put in some foliage plants, then trailing ivies look beautiful in hanging baskets. Now we're ready for the last plant, which I'm going to put in the top here. You can always put in more plants if you want, but these will gradually spread and fill out and hopefully cover up a lot of the liner and so on. Fill up again with compost, push the compost down firmly because it will settle when you water, and if there's any scope at all, a bit more compost, push it down nice and neatly. Don't go too high or you'll just find that the compost will wash over the side of the basket and mess up your patio. And once everything is in place, we're ready for watering. Water from above so that you can settle the compost around the plants themselves. Water it until water starts draining out of the bottom of the basket, because you want to try and make sure the whole compost is really well watered and saturated. Check the moisture of the compost every day, and if it does feel moist when you squeeze it between your fingers, it's absolutely fine, and you'll have a display which lasts for many, many weeks. The other thing to do is just to pick off any faded flowers. So as the flowers themselves come to an end and the petals start browning, pick them off. Plenty more flower buds to come, keeps the display looking its very best. There are loads more things you can plant in hanging baskets, window pots, or any container you like. We could have something edible in there for the summer, tumbling tomatoes, a variety of different vegetable crops, salads. I could put strawberry plants in. These wonderful little strawberries are already producing their flowers. Strawberries are great in hanging baskets because you plant them near the edge and the fruits as they develop tumble over so you can see them perfectly. They're off the ground so the fruits stay clean and stay away from slugs and snails. Or if you want another edible gardening idea, why not put some herbs into your basket?